Hello everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm just here in the studio. I'm in the middle of throwing some tankards, and I thought I'd bring you in on it. Why not? Yes. Well, they are 12 ounces, and they are 4.5 inches high, and they're 3 1/4. Let me just check that actually. Let me just check that. Yeah, 4.5 high and 3 1/4 wide. So, and I just thought, well, let's make one together. They're a little bit of a. The form is not straightforward. Of course, it's a form that, if you can't throw a cylinder, you haven't got a hope of being able to throw. That's why it's so vitally important to learn to throw cylinders and throw them competently. And throw them till you can throw them in your sleep. That's what I say, and I'm sticking to it. So, right, I've actually just thrown one, as you can see. Just adjusting the camera here. And we'll talk about it as we go. I hope my big head doesn't get in the way. So this one I already cut him off. So let's just lift him off. Ooh. One of the sorry, back up. Start again. I'm using actually these days a twisted nylon wire. I remember when I used to work for my father in the pottery. That's David Leach in Devon, England. We used to have twisted cut-off wires, and they were made of stainless steel though, and the stainless steel after a while would snap or break, or one part of the twisted wire would break, and then you get a sharp thing that gets stuck in your finger. Anyway, I had the idea to make twisted wires out of nylon and twist them together, and they're working pretty well actually. I'm quite pleased. It gives, that characteristic, I don't know if you can see that on the bottom of the pot. It looks kind of nice, but it's not just for looks. It also helps you to get to lift the pot off the wheel, because when you have a twisted wire, it allows more air to get in underneath your pot, you see, and then you can lift it off. Maybe some of you out there don't lift pots off the wheel, I don't know. And you probably use one of those some newfangled gadget. But you really ought to learn to lift your pots off the wheel with your bare hands. These are the tools. Okay. Oop. So here we are. It's a nice afternoon, but I tell you, the wind has got up and the temperature has dropped. Okay. So you can see. Let's just check we're in the picture here properly. Hang on, I'm going to move that around a little bit and then back like that. So I'll try and talk this through as we go. Yeah. So you can see I'm using a stick gauge here, and that is set already, you see. These are all thrown to the same size. So let's go. I'll try not to get in the way of the camera. So I've got a mirror here. Great invention. I'll go, no. Here comes my neighbour with a lawnmower. I knew this would happen. Oh, yes. Okay, so we're centering the clay, and then or I should say we're coning up the clay and I'm centering it down. You see? Breaking in and widening. I kind of do all that in one movement, and compressing the base at the same time. Coning it in and now lifting it up. Lifting it up towards the gauge, but you'll notice I'm still maintaining that conical form. That's very important. Keep it inwardly and upwardly mobile. Keep it nice and wet, pushing in from the outside here and lifting it up fairly fast. You know, you want to, don't have your wheel going too fast, but you want to be able to lift the clay. So a lot of people don't lift fast enough and the wheel is going around too fast, and as a consequence to that action, and that is your pot will dry up. Okay, you don't want that to happen. So down to the bottom and pulling up. Looking for the height, you see. Looking for the height. Whoops. I am conscious that my head, I hope it isn't, I'm kind of used to bending my head over, you know. So you can see I'm almost up to the gauge there. See, the wonderful thing about working to a gauge is, and I encourage you all to do it, because the gauge will teach you. The gauge is your goal. If you're a soccer player, you dribble a ball down to your opponent's end of the pitch and there's a goalpost and you kick the ball through the goalpost. That's what you're aiming at, okay? So having a gauge here helps you aim for the goalpost. It gives you something to aim at, a definite height, a definite width. You see? I'm sorry if I'm... maybe I can move that. I'm sorry if my head is... I'm kind of making this in a bit of a cockeyed way because... Okay, so you notice the form. You know, you've got to get the height up there. Okay, it's wide at the base. At the moment, it's too wide at the top because I was fumbling. All right, so and now it's slightly tapering. You see the form, but wider at the base, and then at the top here, I form this collar. You see. No, it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt, I should say, once in a while to take your ruler and now these should be. Hang on. Ooh. Well, he's a very, very slight bit over 4.5. He's supposed to be 4.5, but he's a little bit taller. And 3.25. 3.25 smack on, and just a smidgen over 4.5. So I've actually made it bigger, very slightly, but I'm not going to worry about it because I made the others like that too. They're slightly, very slightly fraction high, but no worries. Okay, so just using my throwing stick here. Now this is a very good throwing stick, I like, because I also, it has an angle here which helps me to do the undercut at the base. See, all the pots that you throw, you really need to put an undercut in underneath. Alright, that'll help you when it comes to... I'm going to get off the wheel, just otherwise I'm sure my head's going to get in the way. Now the sun is in my face. I just want to do... Right here at the top, I very slightly taper it, you see, from the inside, to the outside, like that. So I hold a finger there like that and do that. And what that does is, let's see if we can just zoom down there. Ooh. So just here, it's tapered this way. Alright, in that way it doesn't alter the outside form of the pot. And I was talking about my throwing stick, because I can get in here, put in an undercut, but I also use the stick to just remove some of that slurry off the outside of the pot. Okay, I'll back out that zoom now. Oh, ooh, wrong way. That's it. This camera actually has got quite a good wide angle. So, Geronimo. Right, so sponge on a stick. And piece of chamois leather here. We're just going to just leather that like that, you see. Now do leather the rims of your pots, because it helps to make them strong and smooth. If you don't, some people will do the rims of their pots with a sponge, and you want to avoid that because it brings out all the grog. And you'll end up with a rim that chips easily if you do that. So leather your rims. Okay, and now we're going to need our cut-off wire. Okay, so first thing I do, and I keep my cut-off wire here, and you'll notice this cut-off wire how short it is, because that's the correct length. It wants to be about 12 inches. You don't want it much longer than that. Yeah, it's about 11 inches, but okay, so use your thumbs, keep the toggles hidden in your hand like that, and then use your thumbs firm down on the wheel head and underneath, with the wheel just going around slowly. Wipe the hands. So make sure you, before you pick your pot up, okay, off the wheel, make sure you've got a clear destination for it. A lot of people, they pick their pot up and then they suddenly think, oh, where am I going to put it? So first, get yourself a clean spot, you see, for your... And then, clean hands, we clean the slurry, we cut him off with a twisted wire, and off he comes. Voila! Can we see the twistedness there? And put him down like that. Next to his brother. So there it is. That's throwing a tankard, as I have grown up to call them, but here in America I think you will call them steins. Anyway, no worries, there it is. What else? What else? Yes. I'm actually going to be making some of these wires, by the way, and I'm going to be putting them on my website for sale. There's another thing about the wire I didn't tell you, at least not in this clip, and that is it has one end is a ceramic end, you see, and the other end is a wooden end. Oh, Simon, that is very interesting. Why do you do that? Well, it's what we call a weighted toggle. It's a weighted toggle. This is a weighted wire. One of the toggles is heavier than the other, you see. That keeps the wire always here in the slots tray. It never falls out on the floor, because they do fall out on the floor, don't they? From time to time. So, yes. Please visit my website, simonleachpottery.com. We are going to be refreshing it with some fresh pots. Now I'm getting back to doing some production. We've been doing a lot of teaching, you know, over the summer, so it kind of is disruptive. But now I've got to get down to, hence all these pots, you see. And I've got more over there. Probably the next clip we're going to be putting on handles to these tankards, and then we're going to be doing some slipping in red iron oxide slip. So join us for that. That'll be coming up over the next few days. And we have a workshop here. It'll be our last workshop here, October 11th and 12th. So that's pretty soon. So if you fancy a little bit of practicing just before the winter weather descends upon us, then come along. We have about a couple of spare places. So we've got a couple of free spots there, so do join us. Okay, that's it, folks. Thanks for joining us, and remember, keep practicing. And that's just about it. Bye bye now.